Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Lethal Weapon. A great episode. A lot of interesting things went down in this episode. The main overarching story about this episode was about a guy named Larry who quit his job. It's like, hey, he was going to win the lottery. The reason why he was so sure is because he basically had an in. And it's kind of interesting what the grand story about that ended up being, because it ended up being about this dude named Mateo, who basically, he was drunk driving and he killed somebody. And basically he got a job working at kind of like an IT position when it comes to the lottery commission and stuff like that. So he was basically helping people by giving them money, like trying to give them a win in the lottery system, just because he wanted to make sure, like he was trying to make amends for his past. Which is like very honorable. But like all the while, like there's the whole situation of, you have like, because kind of blending the whole story together is Cole is spending time with his daughter Maya, and Roger, his father-in-law, Trisha's dad, Don, is there, and both of them are having trouble. I love the whole conversation between Cole and Roger, because it's like, for Cole, it's like, no matter what I say or what I do, it's not good enough. Like Maya kind of jabs at him and just kind of being like, no, man, she's not really like engaging in the whole situation. And Roger kind of puts it very interesting. It's like, oh, she's 12, so she's not quite a teenager, but not quite like a child, so you won't want to treat her like a child. But it's like, don't worry, they'll stop hating you when they get to 16, because that's when they'll want money. I love that whole situation. And then also, you know, Roger is dealing with his father-in-law, who's a judge. He was this and was that. And every time he's around his father-in-law kind of makes him feel a little small, because Don has a way of just being like, oh, trying to be big and, you know, trying to, it was like, oh, look at my achievements. Even Roger using the example, what about at our wedding? It's like, oh, that Trisha's like, that toast was amazing. He literally gave the toast while I was saying my vows to you. Who does that? And she's kind of like, okay, but you got to admit that toast was good. And even Avery is quoting it later on, and Roger's like, I promise you, I might have to shoot you if you are quoting that. He's like, I'll get right on this. But he's like, oh, no, honestly, it was from that toast. It was really good. I was just like, I love it. Because even Avery was like, oh, the judge. I love the judge. Even calling him that. I just love the whole situation there. So both of them kind of dealing with family issues in their own regard. It's just kind of interesting. Cole mistakenly brings Maya along with him. She sees the jumper. She hears what Cole says to him about what he's done. He's killed people, gotten a 9-year-old killed, all that kind of gets her a little overwhelmed. But I also love that there's a luck aspect to this episode, because for one, there's the aspect of like, oh, while the guy's got a gun on Roger, Cole is fighting a dude above. The dude falls over and lands on that dude. And he's like, Roger, look, you talk about there's no such thing as luck. Look at that. Because Roger was kind of like, luck is this and that. Roger had to go on the road and pick up that laptop. And the dude who jumped, Mateo, jumped. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that sucked. He lands on top of the car and just like, oh, that's going to stop the car, but he's still going to die. It's like, no, there's a mattress on top of the car, so he's alive too. And even Roger was like, did you see that, Cole? That was lucky as hell. And it also happens later on when he gets stabbed and his father-in-law's book saves him. He's like, I can't let Don know that happened. I love that. Just kind of like how luck kind of plays in the part like that. It just kind of, there's a lot of serendipity in this episode. Even later on when everything, like, because Maya finally got Cole to finally confess to what he did. And, you know, even to the 9-year-old that died, and just like, I think, you know, Maya, for the first time, I think, like, was kind of seeing her dad. It's something she talks about later on. I think the reason why she was giving him such a hard time, because he wasn't there. There's the whole situation of, like, he got her, like, little, My Little Pony sheets, and even Natalie was like, why? She's too big for that. And he's like, right, because why would she want that? Stupid me. But there's the whole situation of, like, because he wasn't there for a good chunk of her life, because it's like the last time they had a sleepover, she was 9, she's 12, so that's 3 years right there gone. And I think on some level, maybe she kind of resented him a little bit, but for her new perspective is the fact that she sees her dad in a new light, because she sees at the very least he's trying, that he's like, after everything he's done, he's kind of done some stuff, he's killed some people, but he's only done it when he's had to, and he has always done it to try and protect people. It's like he doesn't know if he's a good guy, but he tries to be. And once again, he's trying, and I think that means the world to Maya. Then the whole, like, her jumping in the pool, getting cut, and just like, okay, we have to go to emergency. I'm like, oh yeah, Natalie's not going to be happy about that, which she wasn't. And I love the whole conversation of being like, yeah, she told me everything. It's like, oh yeah, there's a 9-year-old. It's like the dead 9-year-old. And Natalie's like, what dead 9-year-old? It's like, isn't that what she told me that she walked into the morgue? It's like, right, dead 9-year-old? Oh, what? Okay, no, I only told her that stuff. Oh, yes, it's true, but I told her that because, she overheard it when I was talking to the jumper. She saw a jumper? Wow, this conversation got away from me pretty quickly. I love that. Just like Cole has a way of just digging himself deeper and deeper. And so it's just that whole sad situation but like I talk about the serendipity of it when Cole is saving that kid, he's literally, God, what's the zip lining across a line with his belt holding the kid that's in trouble. Because in grand scheme of things, this episode is all about, even more so with luck and serendipity, the Fabo Shack place that they kept going to led to a lot of that serendipity happening. But it also turns out Mateo was showing up there because the waitress who works at that place is the wife of the man he killed. So he ends up putting all the money in her account because there was a commissioner dude who was taking advantage of the situation too. And he was also letting other people know, like, what was kind of going on. So he was the one that was taking his cut in all of this. Him and Mateo were partners in this, but then, like, because he owed, like, the Armenians money, I think is what it was happening in this episode. So, like I said, a lot of crazy circumstances running around. But I think when it's all said and done, oh, right. I also love the Bailey situation, too. I forgot. Bailey's like, okay, so you have to think about it once. So, like, what happened? She's like, I literally got Mateo to let me know who his partner was. And, like, yeah, Colbin, like, oh, man, I didn't even know you were in there. And, Roger's like, oh, yeah, I was too busy talking to Coach. She's like, I literally got to find more women to work with. So I just love that. It's like, just kind of like all the hard work Bailey puts in. It's almost like it's so no one gives her the credit she deserves, which we all know Bailey's a badass as she is. But I love that whole aspect. And then like Roger and the whole situation with him and Don when he went home and Don being like, oh yeah, you want me to call the judge? No, a judge is a friend of mine. I'll call him. He's like, fine, you got me. I lied about the judge. The fact of the matter is you're sitting in my throne. What if, would I ever go over to your home and sit on your throne? Just give me one thing. Give me one thing. I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks. It's like, oh, Roger kind of cracked a little bit. And then the conversation between Trish and Dawn I thought was really neat because she's like, you knew the mayor wasn't coming because I told you. I was like, oh, Dawn, you are. See, because it's like on some level he had to have been doing it on purpose, but now you know for sure he's doing it on purpose. Because Trish kind of was like, no, he's not. No. But this was her proof to be like, no, you are. You pick and provoke at him on purpose. And the grand scheme of things, the reason why, and it's kind of an adorable reason why, it's because both of them love Trish and they're all both trying to put their best foot forward because it's like, you always try to like undermine me around Trish. It's kind of how, Roger feels. And there's a reason for that. Because for Dawn, it's like all these accomplishments he's had, like they kind of get washed away in time. But here's Roger, he's still young, he's successful. And it's like, to me, Trish used to look at me like I rise and set the sun. The sun rises and sets with me, but that changed the moment she met him. It's like, because she was like, don't make me choose between you, like my dad, the man that raised me that I love, and the other men that I'm married to that I love, so it's almost a competition of, it's kind of like for him, it's like the worst fear of a father's isn't that his children will find someone that's not good enough, is that they will find someone better than them. And it's just kind of like, that's why he was. So it's kind of like this little thing between them, and I thought was pretty nice. It seems like when it's all said and done that they have buried the hatchet, that things are good. They're even playing chess together at the end of the episode. So it's like, because I brought that up before, because it's like, we've never got to look at Roger's family nor Trisha's. So this is kind of a step in that particular right direction. So I thought that was pretty nice. Then there's the whole situation with Natalie and Cole. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, the whole situation with Maya made her rethink her position, because it's like she realizes the kind of person that Cole is, that he's always very protective. Like, yeah, he has his issues and stuff like that. He has his quirks, not really good at being a dad, but the fact is he tries. He's very protective when it comes to people. She remembers an example of that, so she was willing to give him another chance when it came to the whole Maya thing. So That Maya thing in the episode didn't turn. I was like, oh, she's going to get caught. Like, she kind of got caught up in crime scenes, but not to the extent I thought she probably would have. So I thought that was kind of pretty neat. I mean, that things didn't turn ugly. Like, I figured they wouldn't, but I kind of had a feeling too. Just kind of like the moment Natalie was like, I'm just like literally like phone call away. It's only supposed to be one night till I'm like, oh, some shenanigans are going to go down. And not the shenanigans I was exactly expecting. To a certain degree, yes, but other degrees, no. So, but it is also good to a certain extent. I mean, it's not the person you'd probably want him to confide in, but he confided in Maya, which is like, that's a lot for a 12-year-old to kind of like process. But I think it also, once again, like I said, it gave her a different perspective on her dad because like he kept a lot of stuff bottled up and he needed someone to talk to. Anytime the whole situation came up about Natalie, he just couldn't bring himself to talk to her about it, you know? So at least he told it to somebody so he's not kind of carrying that burden alone. And it's also making him take steps forward between him and Maya, but also him and Natalie, which I think is kind of interesting. I mean, she's moved on and everything, but hey, you never know with this situation, so. But I also like the line of him telling Rogers, like, yeah, you are lucky to have the family that you have. Don't take them for granted, you know? So now I'm sitting here thinking about the whole morgue situation. Like, I didn't expect her to walk in on a morgue thing. And it's just kind of like, Maya, get out of here. And she's like, I just want to see. And he's just like, well, you're grounded and you're going to bed. It's like 4:30. Well, yeah, you're still going to bed. So what about dinner? Well, first you have dinner, then you go to bed because no dessert. She's like, you suck at this whole dad thing. And he's just looking at Bailey like, what do I do? So it's like, oh, I love that. I didn't even think about that initially. I think this episode really kind of made that pop in my head, especially, like I said, during that whole conversation Roger and Cole had about the whole family thing. Because it's like, oh, yeah, like, I feel like that's a big dynamic between the two as well, because it's like, oh, they're both fathers, and it's just kind of like the complicated thing of being a father, especially because Cole's situation is a little different. He wasn't always there in his daughter's life. So it kind of leads to, like I said, it just led to their situation being what it is. But, you see him slowly kind of finding his way back. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see like how all these dynamics continue to grow over the course of the season. I did kind of get a little spoiled because I saw the title of the next episode. What was it? I think it's Leo Gets Justice. So I'm like, yes, another Leo Gets episode. I love it. It's so good. Leo is like one of my favorite recurring characters because I feel like they're making him pop up more and more each season. You can't help but know, because he popped up once in season 1, season 2. He popped up like 2 or 3 times. So I'm so excited to see what real shenanigans we get into next episode with Leo, especially because it's going to be Leo's first time meeting the new partner Cole and everything, especially just in all honesty too, because it's just like in the grand scheme of thing, everything that's happened is like, I'm probably Leo gonna be probably like careful and stuff like that when he meets up with Murtaugh again. Like I said, it's gonna be interesting. Oh, like I forgot, because the last circumstances we met Leo under, he got married, right? I mean, his wife is in jail, but still he's married. So I'm curious to see that, if that pops up. I would assume maybe that kind of flows into that, like the whole getting justice thing. His wife is in jail, stuff like that. Maybe he's trying to get her out or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm very excited to see what the next episode has in store for her. But in general, this was a great episode. Just like, I love that they're just immediately hitting this season with the ground running. Just loads of fun, and just also big character development and stuff like that. So things the show is very good at. So, but really, that's all I want to talk about this episode. To the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, love life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good